if God's not number one, then the devil is. Why don't we sign contracts with God? You know how, like, you hear famous people and they say that they signed a deal with the devil, but you never hear people say that they signed a deal with God. Why is that? Why don't we sign a deal with God? How come we don't commit 100% to what God wants us to do? Because there's no glory, there's no riches, there's no fame. Is that why? Is that because there's no promise of that? It's a lie. I think that you should sign a deal with God. You should commit 100%. And that contract with God is going to be different than the devil. The stipulations is that you have to serve God 100%. You have to put Him number one instead of yourself. Or the devil, he wants you to put yourself as number one, which ultimately you're putting the devil as number one if you do that. And so this battle that we have in life between good versus evil, it's a real thing. You could feel it. You know, it's a spiritual war, right? It's never in the way that you think it's going to be. It's not like you see the boogeyman. You know, maybe some people do. But it oftentimes is just fear and doubt that creeps in, that can be overwhelming and take you. It can swallow you up. But God doesn't give the spirit of fear. He gives courage. He gives strength. He gives wisdom and inspiration. And belief that through Him you can accomplish anything. But it has to be pure. You can't hurt other people. You have to have other people's intention best at heart. So I was reflecting this morning in my prayer, and that was the message that came up is, why don't we sign a contract with God? Why don't we fully commit and say, yes, God, serve me. Let me serve you to my full potential, and let me be the tool that you need to do your work, to do your bidding. You got a lot of famous people who worship the devil, and that's clear in the propaganda that is showing in their music videos and media and film. And I don't understand that. Why would you promote self-sabotage? Why do they promote darkness when light always prevails? Why do we in society continuously support negative behavior, drug abuse, violence? Why do we go through and continuously allow that? And I'm all for freedom of speech, don't get me wrong. I think people have the right to say whatever they want to say. However, there does come a point in time where you have to draw a line in the sand and stand up for what you believe in. And for me, I look out into the world and I say, look at all this beauty. Man did not create this. I don't buy into the notion or the idea that we are here accidentally through the Big Bang Theory. There's too many perfections in order for that to be realistic. As controversial as that might be, which is, I mean, to me it's not controversial at all. Now you can argue how old is the planet and all that stuff. However, I think that there's something much greater beyond us, and we tap into that. We are able to tap into it, but you have to have a clear conscience. You have to be able to get into a state of mind that allows you to go beyond your perception of the world. And some people do use drugs and alcohol or whatever to see that. You hear people taking mushrooms or psychedelics or whatever, and they have an experience. And I don't think that you need that. And that's fine. Everyone has to find their own path. But for me, what I want is to be able to tap into it, be completely sober, so I can execute on the mission. What is your mission in life? We hear people talk about vision statements and mission statements and core values for their company, but you don't ever hear people talk about it for their personal self. God has a mission for each and every single one of you. And you should become the best version of yourself no matter what. So when you get that message, so you get that understanding of what that actually is and what that looks like and what it is that you need to do to accomplish that mission in life, you are prepared to be able to do so. And that's what this life is about. It's about who is worthy and prepared enough to take on the mission. And those that do, lead. It's the people that are not clear with their vision that suffer the most. And that's the masses. That is the majority of people. And so my question is do you want to be like the rest of the flock, the rest of the group? Or do you want to be somebody who is working in alignment with what their purpose in life is? Whether or not you accomplish that, or you get addicted to the result, that doesn't really matter. What matters is that you do the daily actions You take the daily steps, no matter what the consequences, no matter how you feel. No matter if you like it or not, you commit. God wants you to commit. God wants you to sign that contract with Him. Because when you do, you're in lockstep with God. You're in alignment. And you start to see the world differently. Because everything is perception. It's your perception versus the rest of the world's perception. And it's true. Life isn't a window, it is a mirror. And what you put out there is what you're going to get back. And so if you want greatness for other people, you have to be great. If you want kindness and love in the world, you have to be kind and love. You have to do the things that you want to see in the world. That's the only way that it works. It's like the Mother Teresa quote. If only the world would sweep their own doorstep, the world would be clean. If only each person swept their own doorstep, the world would be clean. What does that tell you? It means take care of all the things that you need to, that you know you need to. Just take responsibility for it. Stop complaining about it. And just get it done. And you do that by getting organized. If you're a checklist person, not if you're a checklist person, become a checklist person. Stop forgetting things. Have your notepad around you, or put it in your phone in the notes section in your iPhone or whatever. Start taking accountability. When people tell you things, jot it down right then and there so you don't forget, and you're constantly reviewing. Make it a priority to become better. Follow up with people. Make sure that you're doing everything that you possibly can to get and maximize results. Make sure that you are the standard. You're setting the standard. You know, people complain about poor morale and company culture, but then they don't do anything about it. They think that it has to come from leadership. And yes, that is true. Leadership does need to step up. However, the individual is the person who needs to bring the morale and the culture, the positive culture. Be the force that you want to see. That is God's will. Peace.